Welcome back, Cardboard Warriors. How's everybody out there doing today? This is a video I've been trying to make for a long time. It's an old school collection I bought quite a while ago. I think I bought it back in the spring. I just haven't been able to get to it because so much new products coming out this year that I've got boxes from previous sets I haven't even been able to open yet because as soon as I start getting into a set, a new set comes out. I've still got Infinity and Jumpstart and Dominaria I haven't even opened yet. Oh man, down. Because there's just too much product coming out this year. So these collection videos keep getting pushed back and pushed back, but I really just need to get this one out there. And I got another one as well that I picked up a few months ago that I've got to get up. So you'll see those here coming soon. But this one's kind of a heartbreaking one because this is a really old school collection. Back when it's a lot of cards from back when I was playing real heavy in Magic, real competitive. It's basically starts about revised and ends about M10. So there's not a lot. There's no alpha or beta, unfortunately, and I didn't see really any unlimited that I can remember. It's been a while since I've gone through this collection. So none of those. A few Legends cards, some Dark, but mainly revised to M10 era cards. But there's a lot of big cards in that era, so the heartbreaking thing. Well, there's a couple heartbreaking stories about this collection. It was an older gentleman that I met. I think it was on Craigslist. He was advertising on, or he hit me up for my buying Magic collection ads on there. And it was his son's collection, and his son passed away like 10 years ago, and this was from when his son was younger and played. And he just left the collection in a shed for 10 years because I guess, obviously it was probably too painful for him to go through and start selling off the stuff. But unfortunately, it sat in a shed with no climate control or anything for over 10 years. So the collection's completely ruined. It's destroyed. I'll show you what I mean here. So a lot of the collection looks like this, just massive humidity damage because we're in Florida, so the humidity is ridiculous down here. And I mean, these cards are completely ruined. If we were to put these cards in sleeves, they would just disintegrate. And I mean, well, there's some good stuff in here too, but like the cards they were just in shoe boxes. They were just thrown in a couple big shoe boxes. But I mean, there's some good old school cards in here that are just absolutely ruined. I mean, not a lot of value in this pile. Good old Shivan. The back of this one is just so dry and ruined. It's like sandpaper. Yeah, these cards are completely destroyed. If we try to put these in sleeves and play with them, they would just disintegrate. Look, somebody drew on some of them, so that's nice. Back in the old days, people used to use other cards as proxies because we didn't have the flip token kind of cards that we could just draw our own stuff in. This one got bent in half. So between the humidity and the fact they were just throwing in some shoe boxes, a lot of these cards just really got destroyed. They're some good old cards in here, but they're just ruined. I wish you could feel them. Some of these cards are just like sandpaper on the fronts and backs on them. You can see they're just a lot of water damage and humidity damage and stuff. They're just destroyed. So that's the heartbreaking thing about it. And, I had to, when I started looking at the collection, I realized immediately that the cards were ruined. And there's going to be no value at all, even if there was some decent high-end older cards in here, which I didn't know. I'm looking at the collection, I'm like, oh, there could be some dual lands in here. There's a lot of revised, It turns out there wasn't, unfortunately. But, yeah, I mean, look at this. So, the guy really wanted to get a lot of money for them, and I was just like, dude, they're literally worthless. I mean, I can't sell these. Nobody would buy these. There's no way I could make any profit off of these. There's no way anybody could actually make anything off of these. I can't even play with them. I mean, they're just... Basically, I'm just going to buy the collection just to make a video, and so this is a really, really expensive video because there's no way I can get any money back out of these. So I think I ended up giving like $100 for the collection just because I felt bad about the story and everything, and I just wanted to make a video of it, but it was a waste of $100. Obviously, these are some of the not as good condition. There's some worse than this condition that I just don't even want to touch. And but most of them are a little bit better. But I'm just still not even sure because I think there's so much humidity damage that if we were to put these in sleeves and try and play with them, they'd probably disintegrate. So we'll go through and I'll show you some of the better cards out of the collection. We'll start here with this Red of Flame from Cold Snap. I love this card. This was one of the big staples of my Dragonstorm deck that I won many tournaments with back in the day. Back in Standard when I was really heavy into Standard and competing every week in Standard and doing some of the bigger events and stuff. This card's so good. For 1 red, it gives you 2 red to your mana pool, and then an additional red to your mana pool for each card named Red of Flame in each graveyard. Each graveyard. So even your opponent's Red of Flames in their graveyard will pump up this one. So I loved it because if I had 2 of these in my hand, I mean, cast 1 for 2 and then cast another one, and it's a Dark Ritual for red. You pay 1 and you get 3 red. So just amazing card. Ultimate ramp. And this card, I mean, I don't think it's reserve list because I think Cold Snap's after the reserve list, but this card might as well be reserve list because they're never going to print it in Standard again. They may print it in a Master set or something, but I don't think they'd ever reprint this in Standard again because WotC hates mana ramp. I don't know why. Mana is the biggest problem in the game, still to this day. But they hate mana ramp. Cards like this that they just feel it's an unfair advantage because mana is so precious in this game. They think anybody that gets a little bit extra mana is going to be kind of unfair in the game. So, and I'll admit this card is really powerful. Any kind of mana ramp like this, cheap, easy mana ramp, like that guy and this guy. This was one of the big combos in that Dragonstorm deck was a Simian Spirit Guide and then ramping up into the red with these and the Seething Songs and stuff like that. I mean, I'd be able to cast that, what is it, 9-drop or whatever, Dragonstorm turn 2 a lot of the times. So there was a lot of ramp in the game for red back then during that Time Spiral and Cold Snap era. So anyways, there's original Planetary Chaos, Simian Spirit Guide, which they've reprinted again. Poor guy's not worth anything now. He used to be worth like a lot of money. But anyways, so there's a couple cards. Here's an old revised Cormus Bill. Some old Lorwyn cards, some old Betrayers of Kamigawa, more Cold Snap. There's a lot of Cold Snap and kind of Lorwyn era stuff in here. 7th edition Mana Breach. Here's an old Empyrean Archangel, mythic from was that Chargeable Aura, I think, and Draconian Silex from Fallen Empires. Old Dissension stuff. Here's the old Future Sight Borders artwork. You probably won't see that anytime soon. Crazy old gory artwork back then. Some more Future Sight. Good old Pilipala. Jedit from Planetary Chaos. Some more Lorwyn. Time Spiral. Ninja of the Deep Hours. He was really powerful. Of course, he just got a reprint, so he's not worth as much anymore. But still a great card. Some old snow-covered lands. I think that's Eventide. Eventide? Morningtide? I think it's Eventide. Hero's Demise. So just some good old cards. But again, they're really heavy played and a lot of humidity damage. Fervor from Witherlight there. More Cold Snap. Relentless Assault from Visions. Again, the backs of these cards are just absolutely rough condition. They feel like sandpaper. They're probably, this one's got a stain on it because something got spilled on it. Yeah, you can see the water damage on the back there. So we'll Steal the Godhead. There's some M10, some Chandra. Field Marshal from 10th edition. So 10th edition and then M10. They are different. They were not from the same year or even close. 10th edition is the last of the editions, and then they went to the M series core sets after that. And it's kind of silly that they went right from 10th edition to M10, because, but Anyways, this was what, 2007? Yeah, 2007. I think these were 2009 for the M10. So a couple years apart, but they're almost the same name. Kind of weird. Some more Cold Snap, Complex, Eventide, original Ravnica Signet. Got old Homelands, Foil Time Spiral Land, Ball Lightning from M10. So just some cool old cards in here that are just completely ruined. I mean, you can't see, it doesn't look that bad on here, but if you were to feel the card, it's just, you can see how bad they are. So I've been kind of on the fence about what to even do about this collection. Rage Reflection, Old Fervor, because I don't know if I want to even mix it in with the other cards I have, because I know these cards are ruined and unplayable. So I'm kind of just leaving it in the corner and ignoring it. Grand Coliseum from Onslaught, another Ninja of the Deep Hours, Angelic Chorus. There's some Dark Angry Mob that's heavily offset to the bottom there. And, well, the back's actually pretty even. That might be a misprint. Yeah, because the back is not offset top to bottom. If anything, it's kind of the opposite. So that's actually offset printing there. So, good old dark card. Allosaurus Rider, original one from Cold Snap. He's fun. Austere Command, Porphyry Nodes, Night of the White Orchids. So, some really good old cards in here, but it's just, like I said, the condition is so bad that I'm just not sure I could even put it in with the rest of my collection. Old Magical Hack from Revise, Library of Lang, and Necro Impotence Unglued. And Mana Screw, yeah, there we go. They knew back in the 90s that mana was an issue, but yet they kept getting rid of any kind of mana ramp and making it illegal and not printing good mana ramp anymore. And I think that's a problem. I think they kind of went the wrong direction with that. I mean, yes, the games would be much, much faster if everybody had ramp, but getting rid of all the ramp just makes the Mana Screw that much worse. So, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments as far as the mana situation in the game. But yeah, I think they kind of went the wrong direction with it. But anyways, we'll keep kind of looking through here. Scred, that one was pretty powerful back in the day. Just some old Stronghold stuff. A lot of Boreal Druids in here. Mana Geyser, more mana ramp. So, Kami of False Hope. Some more Mog Fanatics. More Fervors. So just a lot of good old cards. Enduring Renewal. That's my, this is the original, well, not the original. This is the second printing. It was originally printed in Ice Age. This was the time-shifted Time Spiral version. So the second printing of it. The one deck I kept when I sold my collection was an Enduring Renewal deck. I just love that card because there's just so much room for shenanigans with it. Pain's Reward. Dust to Dust, another old dark card. It's damaged, of course. So, Champions, Kamigawa, original Kamigawa block. So there's a lot of cool stuff in here, and we'll get to some stuff that's worth a little bit more money. There's a place that are revised lightning bolts, some old foils in here. Whisper Silk Cloak from 10th edition. Good old Soppy, original ones from Time Spiral, more Boreal Druids, Tempest Counterspell, original revised clone, a couple unglued lands in there, Aspect of Wolf from revised. So a lot of good old stuff in here, but it's heartbreaking because I don't know what I can really do with it. Here's another dark card that's very offset. That one actually is offset, just miscut. And then Headless Horseman from the Legends, one of the Legends cards in here, but again, it's kind of warped and got some bending on it. You can see the crease down there. So, I just don't know, like I said, that I can justify putting these in with the rest of my cards because they're just kind of ruined. I don't know. It'd be one of those things where I'm probably going to have to sort it out and keep it separate. And if somebody wants one, they don't mind the fact that it's kind of ruined because they're not going to play with it, then I don't know. There's not much I can do with it. Old Ball Lightnings from M10, Terminate, Spellbooks, Buka's Mischief, the original one from Lorwyn, 4th edition counter spells. Leonin from Mirrodin. So a lot of good old cards, but just I'm just not sure. I'm sure it was just a complete waste of money to even pick this up. But I kind of just want to show everybody what happens with these old cards and why they're so rare. Everybody's like, oh, they printed a lot of that set. Well, a lot of them got ruined. I mean, Leonin Shikari from Dominaria, or not Dominaria. Yeah, Darksteel. The other one starts with a D. Throat Slitters, he was fun back in the day. More Homelands, some Alliances, Shield Spheres, Petrified Fields, Wonderwine Prophets, Nimbus Maze with the cool land from the Future Sight border there, which I can't believe they never did. That's kind of silly. They should have done that by now. A couple original Idyllic Tutors in here. Mortal Kombat, Manamorphose, original one. Color of Autumn, original Protean Hulk, so the good old Flash Hulk combo. Some Angel's Graces, Essence Warden, Nicole Bonas, Curse of the Cabal, Demonic Attorney, good old reserve list revised card that's never going to be reprinted, because now when it comes to reserve list, the safest bet in the world is these anti cards. If you want to invest in something on the reserve list, these are probably the way to go, because they can't ever do Annie again. They can't print another Annie card. This wasn't something that they just were like, oh, we'll promise we'll keep the value on these cards. They had to get rid of these cards because legally the game was kind of bordering on that gambling thing back then. So if you weren't around in the old school days in the early 90s, when the game came out, it was originally kind of gambling. What you'd have to do is you'd have to shuffle your deck and then cut each other's deck, and then both players took the top card of their library and put it off to the side, and that was your ante card. And whoever won the game won both of those cards. So you were actually losing. Every time you lost a game, you lost one of the cards from your deck. And this card made each person ante up an additional card. So then you'd get 2 cards from the opponent's deck if you won, or you'd lose 2 cards from your deck if you lost. So Annie was pretty much gambling. It was around the same time Pogs came out, and Pogs got in big trouble for being a gambling game. Children were gambling their Pogs away to each other, and so Magic kind of got caught up in that, and they got in a lot of trouble actually over that Annie thing. So they had to stop doing Annie. So they can't ever reprint this card, even if they wanted to legally, because the government would probably have a problem with it. So the Annie cards are some of the best investments. If you want to invest in reserve list stuff that they will probably never reprint. As you can see, that beta reprint they just did with Magic 30 did not have any of the Annie cards in there. They legally can't print these. The government says no. It's not just a deal with the players. The government literally will not let them print any cards ever again. So, because it is considered gambling. So, there's your safe bets with the reserve list cards. Is any cards. Just so you know. Braid of Fire, another great mana ramp. You cumulatively add more and more red mana to your mana pool every turn for 2-drop. That's so good. Commandeer, or old M10 Birds of Paradise. Original 5th Dawn Grinding Station, Trinisphere from Darksteel, a couple 6th edition Final Fortunes. This was a really good turn, a really good card. You get an extra turn for 2 mana, a whole extra turn, but at the end of that turn you lose the game. But for 2, I mean, you can probably do a lot in red with an extra turn, and only taking 2 mana to get out there. Sword of Cholera. A couple of those, original from Mirrodin, Urza's Destiny foil, Ink Eyes, a couple of revised Mana Flares. Speaking of more mana ramp, or no, that was the opposite of mana. Oh yeah, mana ramp. Okay, I can never remember. Mana Flare, Mana Barbs. Mana Barbs is the one that pings you every time you tap lands. So here's some of the more higher end cards. A couple of Kruk Clan Ironworks. A place out of those in there. From 5th Dawn, these are all pretty valuable, but again, the cards are pretty damaged. I don't know that I could put them in a deck and they'd survive. We'll try. We'll probably try with these. Like a second artifact and add 2 colorless mana to your mana pool. Pretty fun. Then Phyrexian Altar, place out of those. So obviously, you know, if these cards were playable for $100, I would have gotten an amazing deal, because I think these are like $30, $40 a piece still. I don't know, they just reprinted it, so it's probably dropped down to nothing now. But yeah, they were at the time when I bought this collection pretty valuable. But they're all ruined, and I have a feeling if we try to put these in sleeves, they would just fall apart. So it's not like I can actually sell them and make any money. So yeah, Scarlet Bandits. I hated haggling with the guy after he told me the story about the collection, but I just, I couldn't justify paying too much for this collection, because I can't actually sell these cards to make any money back, and I can't actually use them. I mean, you can see just on the edges there how bad they're damaged. So, and I mean, I've got a big box full of this collection, and they're all like this because they were left in a shed. So, very, very valuable lesson. Never leave your cards somewhere where there's no humidity or no climate control, because humidity will destroy these cards. Just sitting in a box somewhere. If they're not in climate control, they will get ruined. So that's what happened to this collection. So, heartbreaking collection, heartbreaking story about how I came across it. But some cool old school cards, great history. But this is why some of these older cards are so scarce, because a lot of them got ruined. I mean, we didn't even have sleeves until after Ice Age came out. Sleeves hadn't been created yet for these, and you couldn't shuffle penny sleeves. So even though we wanted to protect the cards, somehow we tried. We tried using penny sleeves, but you just couldn't play with them. So, and there wasn't actual fit sleeves, hard sleeves like there is now to play with. So we couldn't use sleeves in the early days. We had to play just on the concrete, and I mean, cards get pretty banged up when you do that. So it's terrible. So anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Uh, hard video to make, so I've been kind of postponing it and putting it off and procrastinating on it, just because I wasn't really sure how I was even gonna do this. I spent a bunch of money on this collection that I will never see again. Not a bunch of money, $100, but still, $100 is a lot of money to a lot of people, and it's a lot of money to me to just throw away for no reason. To get one little video out of it that probably won't get that many views, but hopefully share this video, help me out a little bit, so I don't completely lose all my money. But yeah, it was a big waste of money, but it's a trip down history lane, trip down the old school days, old school collections, finally some old school cards to show you guys, which they're getting harder and harder to come by, these old school collections now. So anyways, thank you guys so much for your time. I know it's kind of a long video, but let me know in the comments what you think, and if you come across damaged cards like this, and what do you think? Do you think I should bother putting these in with my other cards, or just leave them separate? I'm just on the fence about what to do with them. So anyways, thank you guys so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.